morning everybody. Today is my A to Z of alcohol misuse, and the letter that we're looking at is F. So it's F for fear. So I looked up I love to look up the definition just so that we're all starting from the same point. And the definitions I found, give or take, say it's an emotional response to a perceived threat. And I think the perceived word is really important because it doesn't mean it is a threat, but we perceive it to be so, and then obviously act and react accordingly. So for families of alcoholics, I think there's a very real fear when you live with a drinker, with his or her unpredictability in their behaviour, what they're going to say and do, how they're going to react, what chaos they're going to cause. And even when you're not living with them, you can still experience this from afar, and many years later after you no longer have them in your life. So how does fear affect you and how you live your life? I think for me, I'm quite a strong person who's quite determined, and after reading an amazing book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Susan Jeffers, I really highly recommend it. I started to realise that actually, even though I am fearful, I'm going to carry on and do whatever it is I'm fearful of anyway, because I think my need for whatever it was greater than my fear, and that's what drove me. I do think that our fears are at the root of a lot of our problems, and I think that in the new process that I've put together, one of the stages is resistance, and beneath resistance is fear. Fear of the unknown, fear we won't cope, fear it'll all be too much for us. And the problem with that is that it keeps us stuck in a situation that we don't want to be in. And we don't seem to be able to get ourselves out of it sometimes. And there's a lot of people out there that are living a compromised life, and they're not getting the most out of it because overcoming that fear just seems so unachievable. And I think when other people talk about fear that have kind of got past it, it can at times feel demotivating. Certainly I felt that when people have said, oh yeah, I've overcome my fears, this, and you're just like, oh whatever. Because when you're stuck in a place, you sometimes can have a lot of self-pity and want to be in that place, and because it's too scary to do something outside of your comfort zone. Obviously fear is massive and it covers loads of different things, and it also covers things from I guess as a child we're fearful of, I don't know, kids at school or being bullied or something like that, or whether someone's going to like us, whatever it is. It's all in a context and it's all relevant and important to us at that moment in time. But obviously as we get older into adult life, those fears can develop and become even bigger. And I think if we don't deal with those fears as we're growing up, or learn coping strategies and ways to maybe look at fear in a different way, then those fears can get bigger and bigger, and then we become sort of immobilised by those fears, and it really inhibits our lives. So yeah, I think for me the fear, I don't think with anything there's a straightforward answer in terms of how you can get over your own fears, because I believe that everyone has things they'll gel with, techniques they'll like, methods they'll like, and some people will like meditation, for example, some people will like journaling, some people will want to speak to friends and family. So I can't sit here and say this is the answer for you specifically. I think that it's about trying to find ways, working with people like myself that can help you to identify where the fear is coming from so that you can put it to bed and then move on. I had a friend that had a fear of needles, and she was a dental nurse, and we used my favourite technique, emotional freedom technique, to deal with that. And she's a very, capable lady who is now working in a dental surgery, sees needles all the time and is no longer taken out by, you know, for a whole day, sleeping off any illness she might have felt because she's had an injection or seen a needle. So there are ways of overcoming it. It's just finding your way and what suits you. So if you do need any help, then obviously get in touch, send me a message. I look forward to sharing the next video, which will be coming up next week. Take care.